If the Knicks offense was humming, it's now singing. Knicks basketball is on MSG, and it is presented by Chase. Tonight, the Knicks home to take on the Orlando Magic. And the Knicks taking the court for the second to last game of their 7-game homestand. They have yet to lose during this stretch of games. Hi, everyone. I'm Bill Pito, and it's great to have you with us. The Knicks so far this homestand 5-0. They have tonight, and then Miami is here on Friday night. Mitchell Robinson, good to go after not playing last night in the first of a back-to-back. In its last game Sunday against the Nets, ChevyOffers.com presents time on the court. And against Brooklyn Sunday in 16:36 of playing time, Robinson was a plus 40. Amazing indeed. As we now go down to the men who will call it for you tonight, Tyler Murray and Steve Novak, guys.
Thank you very much, Bill. Steve, I think he said it well. There's a real harmony to the way the Knicks are playing right now. This homestand has been electric on the offensive side, but in typical Jalen Brunson fashion, he's still not satisfied. But hard to believe him playing better than he did last night. It's his 14th 30-point, 10-assist game, which is the most in Knicks franchise history. He'll look to do it again tonight.
You know I will, and it was a masterclass last night. It was fun to watch. But you also got to remember the 3 games previous to that, he was only averaging 19 points per game and shooting it only 41% over that stretch. So it was beautiful to see him get back in rhythm, and really in this Mike Brown offense, I love seeing the DHOs, less pick and roll, more catch and shoots from this guy. It's been beautiful to see just how he operates all around, scoring it, distributing. He is the captain, and he's playing like it. It has led to 3 130-plus point games the last 3. We'll see what they got tonight.
And just a 10-game sample, but Brunson scoring 2 points a game more than last year while playing 2 minutes a game fewer than a season ago. Now, the Orlando Magic could be an Eastern Conference contender. They made some major moves in the offseason. Not just the Desmond Bane trade. They gave Paolo Banchero a 5-year max extension. He's absolutely one of the best young stars in the league, and the Knicks could have their hands full.
He's a little bit older today. He's 23 years old as of today, so we can't let him start celebrating too soon, but he's got a little bit of work to do, and the Knicks have their work cut out for him because, look, this guy had a 28-point game just last game in dramatic fashion against Portland, and you're seeing exactly how he wants to operate in the middle of the court, downhill with force, and he is a guy who scores 3 times as many points at the free throw line than he does from the three-point line. Just a 25% three-point shooter. That's why he's going to the rack like that. So New York does have their work cut out trying to guard him.
He had 28 points in each of his last 2 games, and some clutch plays down the stretch that set up that Desmond Bane game winner that beat the Blazers on Monday. You expect to see a lot of different defenders perhaps on him. Mikal Bridges could be one of them. You see his numbers from Tuesday, 22 points plus the 5 assists and 4 steals. He's only had 1 other game with all those statistics in his entire decade career. Knicks and Magic coming up. It's the second night of a back-to-back, and this could be a potential playoff preview. Knicks hoping to stay unbeaten at home, and the Magic hoping for a statement win on the road. We'll tip it up next on MSG.
Knicks back at it tonight after playing last night here at Madison Square Garden. Second game of back-to-back, taking on the Orlando Magic here on MSG. Hi, everybody. Welcome you into the Lexus Gameside studio. I'm Alan Hahn. So last night was another game of offensive superlatives with a lot of things that you could enjoy in a very entertaining offense that we've seen these last couple of games as Caesars Sportsbook presents tonight's advanced statistics. Just look at it there. Third straight game with 130 points. That's never happened in franchise history before. Through 3 quarters, the Knicks had 114 points, but also they had a lead late in the third quarter, led by 28 with a minute 24 left in the third quarter. Outscored the remainder of the game. So the mood after the game was one of a team not satisfied with the performance.
Yeah, we're clicking. Most importantly, we got to finish games better. Whatever's happening on offense, and there's going to be times where we're not making shots and stuff, but we got to be better defensively no matter what. So this just has to be our focus going forward.
A lot of room to grow, a lot of turnovers in the second half. Defensively, we can still be way better. I think we have, over 110 points. So, that was a game where, we could lock it in the fourth and get some stops and, break the game out a little bit. But, they're still a good team, and they came out, made a run, and, getting out transition, but us, we got to be better. But definitely I think a lot of room to go, honestly.
Hopefully we can learn from this and grow from this, which you can do in wins. You can obviously learn and grow in losses, but hopefully we'll grow from this and come out and try to put 48 minutes together in our next game.
Karl Anthony Towns said it's always best to learn while winning. The Knicks will try to keep the winning ways going at home, going for a 6th straight win on this homestand. The Knicks and the Magic coming up next right here on MSG.
The Knicks have an average margin of victory of 20 points a game during this hot stretch in the homestand. Might not be so easy tonight. The Magic have won 4 out of 6, but the Knicks are looking for their 6th consecutive win. Last year against the Magic, the Knicks were 3-1, but they never had to face Paolo Banchero. He missed 2 months with an oblique strain. Franz Wagner had the same injury, only able to play once against New York last year. He scored 30 points in a losing effort here in December. And for the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson will make his 5th start of the season, bumping Karl Anthony Towns to the power forward. All right, it's time for our GMC keys to the game, also known as Steve's Keys. We are professional grade. See your local GMC dealer.
Well, the first one has an exclamation point because it's important. Push the ball. I know it's a back-to-back, but Orlando, they are only allowing 11 threes per game. Well, how do you get 22 like the Knicks did last night? Push the pace. You'll get 22 again. Pressure. This Orlando team, they struggle turning the ball over. 16 turnovers per game. And then respect Orlando's threes. This is not a team that's known to shoot it. It is what they all know they need to do, though, in order to win. They do have guys like Wagner and Bain and Suggs that can still knock them down. So no dare shots for this Orlando team. You don't even see them turn into a 3-point shooting team tonight.
This is the second time the Knicks have played a back-to-back. They swept one to begin the homestand, beating the Bulls and then the Wizards on the second night. This Magic team, well, they're not the Wizards. They're all in. They traded 4 first-round picks and a pick swap with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to the Grizzlies for Desmond Bain. And after starting 1-4, they have won 4 of 6. Opening tip controlled by Orlando. They'll host Brooklyn after this, and the Knicks still one more game on the season-long 7-game homestand, with Miami coming to town to wrap things up. Bain to Carter on the opening possession. Suggs a 3 off the front rim. And the best shooting season of Jalen Suggs' career so far is actually 46% from downtown.
Does somebody want to tell Jalen that his headband is around his neck? Might be why he missed that first shot. You got to wear it on your forehead.
I thought I was seeing things. Thank you for confirming.
I'm just wondering what I'm looking at.
He's a dogged defender, but that doesn't bother Jalen Brunson. He's on the board first. Here's Banchero, 28 points in back-to-back games. We'll find Wendell Carter Jr. is off to a hot start from 3, but that one misses. Brunson pushed in the pace into Bain and threw it away. Suggs at 2-on-1 with Wagner, got it back to his point guard, and Suggs lays it home.
And you got to think Orlando, they're very aware New York is on a back-to-back. They want to push that pace. They're out playing some defense and taking advantage so far.
Are we sure that's not a new style we're unaware of with Jalen Suggs? The choker, maybe?
You know, you might be starting a style, but if I know the NBA well enough, if you, Cat with a miss right there, you start a style, the commissioner's going to step in and say, you're not allowed to wear it like that.
Banchero took a hit from Bridges, and a man who averages 10 foul shots a game, 3rd most in the NBA, will get 2 early ones here.
You would sometimes get one of the security guys will pull you in after you did your warm-up, and they'd say, hey, someone saw you shooting and your NBA logo on your sock was covered by your ankle brace. You got to wear taller socks. And you say, who is out there looking at this stuff? But it's important. Got to wear the NBA logo upright. Logo's got to show. There you go. Come on, someone tell him.
I mean, he's got to know that it's around his neck instead of his head. Apparently not.
I think he just realized. Well, we appreciate it. It was entertaining.
They let you do the logo upside down, so it's not all that strict.
That's right. That's right. He'll probably flip it over in a minute.
Banchero, a 76% foul shooter. He gets both. Magic 5 wins, 6 losses. Trying to get back to the playoffs for a third consecutive year, but they haven't won a playoff series in 16 years. Have to go back to the Dwight Howard days. Brunson got bumped, and he'll get 2 free throws. Jalen Suggs had a hand on him.
Yeah, this is an Orlando team that prized themselves on their defense last year. Absolutely one of the best defensive teams. Their offense couldn't really match it, but you can see playing with physicality, a few possessions, it's worked out for them, getting steals, a few other ones right there, a little too much.
They've been top 3 in defense the last 2 years under head coach Jamal Mosley, now in his 5th season. He said this year they dropped off a bit, and Paolo Banchero said our calling card has been on the defensive end, and we've been slipping a bit. And steals, they're down to the bottom edge of the league. They were top 10 a season ago, but they've just got so many strong and long athletes that you figure they're going to get back to where they've been the last few seasons. Brunson able to get both, and we're tied at 4. Now the story for Orlando is, can they get their offense at least somewhere near league average? Last year they scored just 105 points a game, 3rd fewest in the league, barely ahead of Brooklyn and Charlotte. But they are the best team in the NBA at getting to the free throw line, and Franz Wagner will get 2 of his own.
Yeah, and you're seeing that early. Paolo was just at the line. Now Franz taking his turn, and it is the challenge for New York. Can they pack the paint? Can they do a good job showing the referees their hands? Because they're going to keep attacking. Orlando is. They know they've got to shoot the 3 ball. It's not their strength. But boy, it is the thing that holds them back. When you watch Orlando play, when they make threes versus miss, they are a totally different team. Franz putting on the floor, getting those paint touches. OG's just so strong. It looked like he didn't give him, I don't know, just a little push. Let him play.
They've listed the foul on Robinson, but I wonder if they might change that. Barely any contact there as he reached in. 4 for 4 from the line. The Magic have an early 2-point lead.
Yeah, you really don't want to see this game called that way, because you realize Orlando's a good defensive team, but New York, they are too.
Brunson got blocked on the layup attempt. Bane down the lane into a right-hand layup. After the Banchero block, it's a Bane bucket and a timeout from Mike Brown. Strong start for Orlando. Remember, the Knicks have had 40-point first quarters each of their last 2 games, but the Magic doing it on both ends.
Doing it on both ends. It's a back-to-back. It's just another challenge for this team, but they've been clicking. You just got to put it back together.
Blocked by Robinson.
Oh my goodness.
Another block from Robinson.
Communication, make sure the guy's in the right spot. I don't want to be on nobody's highlight reel. So, I'm going to do what I have to do.
Great to have Mitchell Robinson back, his 5th game of the season, as his left ankle injury management continues. Season high in minutes was 19. That was in his season debut on the road in Chicago. He's played 16 minutes each of his last 2 games. Interesting to see how long he'll be used tonight on the second night of a back-to-back after not playing yesterday.
Well, there's few guys in this league whose impact has been felt as much as Mitch's in the limited minutes that he's been playing, and it's all over the offensive glass. And boy, his plus-minus numbers have been off the charts. And so, like you said, it really does come down to how many minutes is he going to play, because limited so far this year. But the more he plays, the better he feels, the better this team is going to be.
Knicks won't have another back-to-back until December 2nd and 3rd. Jalen Brunson, the NBA's leader in first quarter scoring. And never an easy matchup against Jalen Suggs. And Anunoby's snap drive on Wagner, double teamed inside, and out to Brunson again. In the lane, stops, leans in, and gets the roll.
Boy, the way he gets those feet set, and he's not already falling somewhere else or off balance. He can make the shot, make the play, is so impressive.
Bane, that was altered by Robinson, but found its way through anyway. And they brought in Bane for 3-point shooting, but he's diced through the defense for a couple layups in the early going.
Yeah, very smart for a guy who's struggling shooting the ball. Get to the rim, be on the attack. Franz thought he got one right there, reached in. OG said, no.
Jamal Mosley disagrees.
But no, that really is it's a smart approach for Desmond Bane to come out attacking, not having the year shooting that he wants. He needs to make shots for this team, but It is how you get going as a shooter. Focus on the defense or the attack, and all of a sudden the shooting starts happening. But they need that guy.
Whistle and a timeout. The Magic might be challenging that last call. We saw Mitchell Robinson come out. We're getting used to seeing him in 3 or 4 minute shifts. And yes, indeed, the green light has gone on, so they will challenge to see if Anunoby was fouled or not.
The rule influencing defensive foul. Orlando is challenging the rule in play is now.
We'll take a look as we go to break, and they review this call. A lot of contact there from Wagner. We'll see if the refs agree. The other hand from Wagner created contact, but certainly did not affect Anunoby's speed, quickness, balance, or rhythm. So a clean steal.
You know, a clean steal, and it really is the art of the challenge. They've got guys behind the bench now with these iPads, high speed, looking at things, going, go ahead, Coach Mosley, give it a look, challenge it. And boy, you win a few of those, a couple possessions. They just saw against Portland last game how important one extra possession is. When Paolo got the steal with a couple seconds left, smart enough to call a timeout. They got an extra look, and they won it because of an extra possession. So good challenge by Coach Mosley right there.
By the way, Franz Wagner busted his nose in that dramatic win over the Blazers on Monday, so that's why he's sporting the mask. Not affecting the jump shot there. He nails it to give Orlando a 6-point lead.
Yeah, we can't have him wearing that mask, feeling all tough, but man, he took quite a shot trying to play a little too much defense against Portland.
And Anunoby sets up in the corner. Off the mark with a good closeout from Banchero. Desmond Bane taking just 4 3-pointers a night this year, lowest since his rookie season. His team loves to attack the rim. Wagner matched up with Brunson. Captain's hanging in there with some help defense from Towns. Good find from Wagner to Bane, and he buries a 3.
And I just love watching the way Jalen works against bigger guys, but what a beautiful pass over the top by Franz to Bane, who's just shooting at 28% from 3. He'll take an easy catch and shoot corner one.
Magic missed their first 2 shots. They've connected on 5 in a row now. And a turnover for the Knicks. That's their 3rd already. Bane catch and drive. Hangs in the air. Didn't get the roll. Rebound tipped out of bounds. It's going to stay with Orlando. Take a look at this pass from Wagner.
Well, 6'10", going up against 6'2", and he can just throw it right over the top. Good spacing by Orlando. That's what you worry about. That 3-ball showing up for them.
It's their first and only make so far, and that continues as Suggs rimmed it out. Brunson on the baseline. They're going to call that foul on the floor. The second on the Magic this quarter.
What I love about Jalen Brunson right now is just the edge that he's got. Look, he's not waiting for the game to happen. He's not sad because it's a back-to-back and he might be a little bit tired. It's early in the first quarter, and he's got an edge, and he sees his team is down by 9, and he is the captain. He's bringing it with his emotion.
Looked like there might be a moment last night when the Knicks could empty the bench. They're up by 28 late in the 3rd, but the Grizzlies made it a 10-point game late in the 4th. Good find for Landry Shamet, and he knocks down a 3.
And I think that's what leadership looks like. You see on your leader's face, he's mad, he's not happy with things, and when he drops you a nice dime like that, Landry says, "You knocked this in for us."
On the defensive end, Shamet forced a miss. Good rebound from Karl Anthony Towns. Shamet now 9 for 15 from distance on this homestand. Towns inside. Bridges had that altered by Wagner. Banchero lost the handle, and Towns takes it away. Brunson looking to push. Gets rid of Suggs. Missed the floater and couldn't find the putback.
But you see the strength on that, just the bump.
Suggs left it short. He's 0 for 3 from long range. See if they can get Towns involved here. Shamet marked by Bane. Back to Towns, who steps beyond the line. Working on Carter. Off the pump fake. He throws it up and drops it in.
I don't know what we just saw there, but I love that after I said, let him play a little bit. That was letting him play, but how about being able to finish through all that contact?
Nice response from New York. And for the Magic, it built a 9-point lead. Banchero off the dribble. He's taken a lot fewer mid-range jump shots this year. Now Bridges on the other end. Knicks are heating up now. Back within 2.
Yeah, you knew it would happen, especially the way this team has been playing offense. But there's a lot of talk about this Orlando defense not playing as well as they are. They're better than they've been playing defensively. Could this have been the night? Well, New York has something to say about it right now.
Wagner into the corner. Bain for 3. Not that time. Bridges given a window. Over to Shamet. Catch and shoot. Back rim, no. Knicks wanted a foul. Brunson hustles for the offensive rebound. Shamet another try. 0 for 2 on that possession.
I like it, though. Jalen saw him. He already had his feet set. He gave it to him. He's going to make that next one.
Bridges marking Banchero. Help from Anunoby. Got the block, but the putback goes for Carter. It's up to 7-0 Knick run. Brunson and Towns 2-man game. Spins away from Suggs and draws the foul. That's number 2 on Jalen Suggs. He's going to be the primary mark on Brunson tonight, as we see an impressive 2 points from Karl-Anthony Towns.
And this possession, I just thought there might have been. That's a foul, in my opinion, getting his way. Another one that could have been the third one that probably could have gone either way. You can see Cat's not real happy with it, but boy, when you can shoot it like that, you can overcome a lot of contact. Great touch.
Towns turns 30 on Saturday, coming off another strong 2-way game last night. In addition to another 20-point double-double, Towns wound up with 3 steals and 2 blocks. Time now for our trivia question, brought to you by Cadillac. Last night, Jalen Brunson recorded his 2nd game as a Knick with 30 points, 10 assists, and 5 made threes. Only one other Knick has that stat line. Who is it? Post your answer to hashtag Cadillac Trivia. 30, 10, and 5 3-pointers.
What do you think?
I've been told we're not really allowed to guess.
All right, I'm not going to guess then. I have some people in mind.
We don't want to give any hints or give it away.
Right.
It's an excellent question, I will say. Well, the real problem is Hall of Famer Mike Breen. He knows every single answer to every question, so his guesses are basically cheating.
Yeah, knock it off, Mike. Quit giving it away. We got to wait till the next commercial break at least.
2-point game after the Brunson free throws. Backup point guard Anthony Black is in with the 2 fouls for Suggs. As his 2nd-year wing Tristan Da Silva. He'll set up Black, and he nails a corner 3.
Yeah, this is an Orlando bench that comes in. They can shoot it. They can play. They help this group. One of the best benches in the league. You're seeing it right there. Some defense.
Tyus Jones also point guard abilities. Black is 6'7", but he does facilitate a lot of offense. Jones with the floater. He's been held to just 20 points all season. Looks like a pretty intriguing pickup to add to their point guard depth, but he's been slow out of the game. Dribble handoff from Towns to Bridges. Pass was over his head, able to save it, and Brunson's right there. Losing his balance, though, so he tried to throw it off Black, and that will stay with the Knicks. Making some hustle plays early. Jalen Brunson already pulled down an offensive rebound a couple possessions ago. And he will get Mitchell Robinson back into the game as Karl-Anthony Towns gets his first rest. And they did call a foul there on Anthony Black. So that's his first.
Yeah, you can tell both teams really have come out with the mindset of being physical and aggressive, getting into guys. And you got to think Orlando would be at an advantage playing that way with it being a back-to-back. But New York has matched it.
Brunson for 3. That's good.
Well, Tyler, there's one thing that overcomes physicality is setting some good screens, getting some space, and when you can shoot it like Jalen, boy, oh boy.
6 for 9 last night. Buries his first attempt this evening. Banchero drives on Josh Hart. Tough 2 won't go, but Taze the offensive rebound. Black couldn't hit from the other corner. Shamet with his eyes up. Brunson, Hart, Bridges, and Robinson out there with him. Hart's been hot from 3, able to put it on the deck this time. Against the taller Da Silva, threw it away. 5 Knick turnovers already. Jones scampers ahead, blocked by Hart. It came right to Black, who returns the feed from Jones in the corner. De Silva, no hesitation. Tristan De Silva, second year out of Colorado, now shooting over 40% from downtown.
Yeah, he is one of those guys that comes off this bench for Orlando. He keeps shooting it. Didn't have a great shooting game against Portland last game, but didn't seem to bother him on that one.
They don't lose much size at all when they go into their bench. De Silva 6'8", 217. Shot clock draining here, and that's going the other way. Hard call for the offensive foul, and that's another Knick turnover, number 6.
Yeah, those are certainly starting to add up, and you can tell it's given Orlando a lot of life. The first few, yeah, right there, just turning it over, but the first few that New York made, it seemed like Orlando had the mindset when there's a turnover, push with pace, get to the rim, get to the paint as hard as you can, and obviously this one will be a little bit of a slower turnover, but they've taken advantage.
Last night they forced 22 turnovers and eventually had 33 points off of those takeaways against the Grizzlies. Orlando by 5. Banchero in the paint. So effective down there. Batase eventually gets the pass, and he scores and one.
You know, you mentioned it earlier, Tyler, just the size and the length of this Orlando Magic team. Pretty much top to bottom. You even think about guys like Jalen Suggs, who's one of the guards, just tenacious defensively, but then in come guys like Batase, 6'10", long wingspan out there with Paolo, who's running a point forward spot. And in comes Jonathan Isaac, another 6'10" guy with a wingspan. You kind of see exactly why the expectation for this team is there.
That was your Buick replay. This is Buick. Now, Buick, exceptional by design. See your local Buick dealer. Deuce McBride into the game as Batase converts on the three-point play. So Brunson, McBride, Hart, Anunoby, and Robinson. The Magic do have the rest advantage on the Knicks. They haven't played since Monday. A 115-112 win over the Blazers with a buzzer-beating 3 from Desmond Bane. Rainbow jumper from McBride is cleaned up by Hart. Had some room at the rim and tipped out of bounds by De Silva.
But how about that combination of Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart out there just pursuing every offensive board they possibly can, giving this team life. Yes, Orlando, I think, is playing a better game so far. But in any moment, when you have momentum plays like that, offensive board, get a second possession, the game can change.
McBride off the inbound, finds Anunoby, corner 3, short. One-arm rebound from Robinson. Averaging 5.5 offensive boards a game as Anunoby draws the foul on Jonathan Isaac. 5th foul in the quarter. Anunoby will get 2 free throws in search of his first points. He finally had a bad shooting night yesterday for the first time all year. Anunoby was 1 of 10 from 3, but the Knicks still shot 40% from downtown as a team. Knicks fans, register for the Knicks Fan First program for your chance to access our no-fees Black Friday ticket offer. Scan the QR code or head to Knicks.com/fanfirst to register now. Anunoby gets both.
You know, the special thing about OG Anunoby is even on a night like you said when he was 1 for 10 from 3 against Memphis, him on the court has such a positive impact because you hear Coach Brown talk about he should be a defensive player of the year candidate and is. He's able to stay on the court because he's doing so much on both ends.
He also said he should be an all-star this year the way he's playing, and it's hard to argue. After the Isaac miss, McBride's in a hurry, has space for a 3, and he knocks it down. Three for 6 from long range yesterday. He's up over 40% for the year.
And now looking to play in defense, popping those feet. He's got the energy. He's the guy who I think you could really see get going for this team. He's played a little bit less this year than last year, so still trying to find that rhythm.
Isaac draws the foul on Hart. Are they going to count that basket? I think they're going to say it's on the floor.
Off the shot clock over the back of the backboard. It did go in.
Impressive enough to watch it again, but it does not count.
You know, making one of these in your backyard or at the park, it's fine. But if you're at Madison Square Garden and you get one to go off the shot clock, off the top of the backboard, I'm impressed.
Second foul on Josh Hart. Jonathan Isaac, 9th year out of Florida State. He was born in the Bronx, moved to Naples, Florida as a youth. as Franz Wagner comes in for Tyus Jones.
Yeah, he's really one of those X-factor guys for this Orlando team who's just dealt with so many injuries, and if he can get in rhythm and just be another wave of bench production to come off of Jamal Mosley's bench, boy, he can help them.
And Isaac gets both free throws. So 5-point game, final minute, first quarter. And the Knicks will not continue their streak of 2 consecutive games, scoring 40 or more in the opening 12 minutes. This Orlando defense came to play, and that's no surprise. Brunson gets inside. Robinson got his left fingertips on it, but a good box out from De Silva. Still time for Orlando. Black in a hurry. Slow-mo Euro banked it in. 7-point Orlando lead. 4 seconds for Hart. Across midcourt with 2. Sizing up Isaac. Got it off in time, but put too much on it. And Orlando will take a 7-point lead into the second quarter. Knicks struggled, shooting just 37% from the field. Tough to stay as hot as they've been this entire homestand as they look to extend this 5-game winning streak. But they'll have to work. Well, one number that you pointed to after the first quarter, Steve, was the assist number for the Knicks. They had 35 all of last night, but off to a slow start in the dime department tonight.
Yeah, and it really didn't strike me that it was an unwillingness to pass the ball. There was good ball movement. Just think about some of the good looks that New York got that didn't go down. That certainly would have been assists, but credit to Orlando. I think defensively in that first quarter, their presence was felt, and they forced the Knicks to shoot. Think about that Deuce McBride 3 that he had to knock down on his own, making them earn it individually. Less ball movement and cohesion for New York.
And just 1 assist for the Knicks in the opening quarter. We'll see if Jordan Clarkson can add some playmaking. Of course, he's known for his scoring, but last few years in Utah, he averaged almost 5 assists a game off the bench. He's out there with McBride, Bridges, Yabusele, and Towns. Knicks shot 7 of 19 from the field in the opening quarter, 37%. There's a big 3 from McBride to get some momentum back for the Knicks. Now he finds Towns. Can't hit the 3. A rebound collected by Isaac. Franz Wagner playing with a broken nose. And a foul on McBride, who was battling with the much taller Carter underneath.
Yeah, and I like that the Knicks are allowing the guards. A lot of times it's Jalen Brunson. Right there you saw Deuce McBride battling down low with those guys because you know there's reinforcements. Now Busele's out there, Cat's on the backside. They're going to go double if they have to, but I like the fight.
If the Knicks can cut into the deficit with Paolo Banchero on the bench. Offensive rebound. Carter missed the putback, and then he's stripped by Yabusele. On the deck for it, down in the corner. Throws it up, and Black has it, but then threw it right to Deuce McBride. McBride lets the defense fly by. Into the corner for Yabusele. Hits a 3.
That's a big shot. That's a lift that New York needed. Orlando, to their credit, again, they're not making it easy. And I think they're giving just a little bit on certain guys. They're saying, Yabusele, you earn it. Make that shot, but he did.
It's his 5th made 3-pointer this year. Wagner probing. Missed the lefty flip shot. Towns gets the rebound. McBride directing traffic. Up top for Towns. Lumbers down the lane, but got stripped by Wagner. Hands to Black. Steps through Bridges. Into the corner for Jones. Carter up top. Towns stayed down to the ball fake, and then Carter took steps. A big 3-pointer from Gershon Yabusele, who's still fighting to be a member of the rotation.
Well, we talked about it right from the start of the game. Push the pace. That is what's going to get you threes, and this is an example of one of them. Good job by Yabusele to get to the corner, get the space. If you can make shots, if you can pull your guy out there, that's exactly where you should be.
Nobody makes more corner threes in the league than the Knicks. They average over 6 a game. Towns will post up Carter now. McBride across the foul line will back up. Shot clock draining off the dribble. Isaac pulls it down.
And that's one of those possessions. Look, if that had gone, it wouldn't have been an assist. Those are the kind of shots that Orlando seems to be forcing, is ISO buckets.
Again, they've got McBride matched up with Carter, but again, a Knicks steal. Bridges picks it up. McBride keeps it moving. And now Clarkson. Blind backhand swipe from Black, and it somehow wound up with Isaac. Knicks back within 4 after trailing by 9, but Bane will get another trip to the free throw line.
And you can just see how important it is to load up on the ball. When I played, there'd be coaches that would say, show them your numbers so that they see your chest, so they don't get creative. And guys with the ball think, oh, I see a crease. I see somewhere where I can drive. Go exaggerate it, especially against a team like Orlando. Fine, they throw it out to someone for a 3. You got to take your chance a little bit, close out hard, but close those gaps for a driver like Bane.
We talked about how him attacking the rim could give him confidence. That's what Mike Brown said about yesterday's second half. He thought the Knicks gave up too many transition layups to Memphis. That gave them confidence. Then they started making 3-pointers and got a 28-point deficit down to 10. And that game felt like it was up for grabs for a moment, but then Memphis continued to turn the ball over, and the Knicks eventually hung on.
You know, it's such a coach thing to do, right? To have a good game, but to have a lapse, and all you saw was the lapse. Nice finish by Cat.
Through a couple different Magic defenders. He has been so effective going to the rim this year. Bane misfired the alley-oop pass, but it caroms to Carter. Entry feed to Wagner, has the size advantage, and he gets the roll.
Orlando is exposing that against New York right now. I've seen it multiple times, multiple different matchups, finding the big fella on a smaller New York Knick in the paint, and they're creating the space, and there's got to be that help man coming from somewhere, or there's got to be early communication to kick that guard out and get a big down there to match up.
They don't necessarily have one big 7-footer, but everyone seems to be 6'7" or taller with these different lineups that Jamal Mosley can put together. Towns barrels inside, a lot of contact there, but Carter will pull down the rebound. Magic by 6 and pushing for more. Bane in the lane, left-hand layup. And the Magic with an 8-point advantage.
And Orlando seems to be very clear on what they do well. They attack the paint. They want to shoot 2s. They know 3s aren't their strength, but
Bridges was asking for a foul there, and then Towns pushed Isaac after Bane was coming back up court. Maybe some frustration there from Karl Anthony Towns. And they have ruled a transition take foul. The Magic are off and running.
And this is what you want to see. This is what you expect. A little battle down low to try to get these boards. I don't think that was too much. He might get an award for that one.
Courtney Kirkland talking with Towns. He's getting pretty animated there. As Bane gets the technical free throw.
You know, the one thing you just got to give the referees in this league so much credit for is they keep their cool. They will talk to you. Sometimes they might take a minute and then come back and talk to you, but they show more self-control than I think most humans do.
I would agree.
NBA referees.
It's a thankless job. And again, a transition take foul, not a technical foul there on Towns. Orlando by 9. Knicks shooting just 36%. Bane marked by Bridges. 2 guys on new teams the last couple of years with a whole lot of draft picks going the other way. As Black strong arms the 3. Banchero the offensive rebound. And he banks in the putback.
These Orlando Magic bigs, they take up a lot of room. And you could see when that shot went up, Orlando was already in good position to make that play.
7-0 Magic run. This is their largest lead. McBride a baseline drive. Good defense from Black. And then McBride threw it into traffic. Good transition defense from the Knicks, though. Black whipped that one toward the Magic bench. It might have got a Knick fingertip on its way. That's what the Magic bench is protesting. For now, they've ruled it Knicks ball. They might have just changed it back. And they're going to keep it with Orlando.
Oh, that was close.
They're saying it got Bridges' fingertip, and then the reverse layup from Franz Wagner. An impressive opening salvo from the Magic. They've got a 13-point lead. Bridges looking to stop the run, and he does draw the foul. Franz Wagner 8 points after that last bucket, but it's Desmond Bane leading the way with 12.
Well, you just think about the freedom of movement just last night against Memphis. New York was able to run around anywhere they wanted. They were getting their dribble handoffs. They were getting paint touches. They were kicking it for great shots. Like you said, a 40-point first quarter. Just not the case as far as the freedom of movement tonight.
Deuce gets loose but can't hit the three. It's 9 first-half turnovers for the Knicks. It's the most in a single half so far this year. Bane had that pass tipped, and Hart gets the steal. Clarkson walks into a three. 4 for 14 from distance. The Knicks have shot 43% from long range during this homestand as Bane lost his balance and the basketball. Over the top for Hart. He'll attack the rim, and he banks it in and one. When the Knicks need a play, just call Josh Hart, and he's shaken up after that three-point play opportunity.
And what a great job to just go get that outlet pass that was way past him. But then to attack Franz Wagner, and boy, the Knicks, like you said, they need a few plays, something to uplift this group. A nice reverse right there. Gonna have to finish with the made free throw after this. Knicks making a push.
For me, my mindset always going into the game is how can I help this team be successful? How can I help this team win? And
the relentless Josh Hart does it again. And Hart always the catalyst.
Sacrifice and winning really go hand in hand.
Josh Hart's compete level went up several notches.
It's not what I can do, but it's how I can help the team be better. And that's something that I'm always going to have. It's something I'm going to do. And I think we have a lot of high character guys that feel the same way.
Well, every team wants a guy like Josh Hart, but there can be only one, and he's right here in New York. It didn't take long, even though he was battling through back spasms, a ring finger injury, and working into a new role, for him to figure out exactly how he can maximize his abilities in this offense. He's hit the free throw line, hoping for a three-point play.
Yeah, it was a great play on that last possession. And look, the points, they're great. Started out the season slow, has now got it going. He's shooting it better, but he does. He embodies what this whole Knicks team has to be. It is the energy plays. It's the toughness. It's being scrappy. He is a guy that is right up there at the top of the league every year in minutes and deflections, and he brings that toughness that this team, we all know, is going to have to be in order to win the way they want to win.
Of course, Mitchell Robinson, when available, will be in the starting lineup, and even when they don't have Mitch, Josh Hart's been coming off the bench as he does complete the three-point play. League leader in minutes last year, just under 38 a night. Yesterday was a season high, 30 minutes. Let's see how much more run is given from Mike Brown as the season goes along, but he is obviously essential to this team's success.
He really is, and it's just not a coincidence. When he got in rhythm and this team started winning, it was hand in hand.
Nice driving kick from Bane, and he got the air ball rebound for Wagner. He'll give him another try, and that one goes.
You know, Tyler, that's one of those NBA possessions where I go, someone's going to have to explain it to me. How can the same guy within 5 seconds be an air ball shooter and a nothing but net shooter? What in the heck was going on?
Here's Hart for three. Can't answer, and Wagner gets the rebound. He's up to 37% from beyond the arc this year, Wagner. He was in the high 20s the last couple of years. Baseline drive for Suggs, unimpeded to the lane.
And that's one of those where I think you just got to stay down. You don't want to give them dare threes, but you definitely know where they want to go. They want to go in that paint.
And one tipped out of bounds by Wagner, allowing OG Anunoby back into the game. 15-point Orlando lead. They're coming in with a lot of momentum after the buzzer-beating win on Monday, which might be the wildest November Monday night in NBA history. You had the Donovan Mitchell buzzer beater in Miami, answered by the Andrew Wiggins alley-oop with 0.4 seconds to go. It's been mostly a stress-free homestand here with an average margin of victory of 20 points for the Knicks during this 5-game winning streak.
Yeah, we're hoping to kind of keep that going, but this one seems to be a little more difficult.
Magic had other ideas. As Brunson connects after 11 first quarter points, he's got 2 in the second. Bane lets Hart fly by. Wagner another 3. Not this time, and Robinson couldn't get the rebound from Batase. That frees up Bane for a triple. In and out. Now Josh Hart. Got it back from Anunoby. Knicks a little more stagnant on offense than we've been used to seeing. Step back 3 for Brunson. He draws a foul by Desmond Bane, and 3 free throws to come.
And Jalen just always finds a way to make a play out of something that doesn't look like too much. Definitely getting those feet out there. He knows how to get to the free throw line, knocks them down, and he's been shooting it very well from the free throw line. So keep on getting there.
They're going to review this, and normally, based off the replay we just saw, it's for potential upgrade to a flagrant foul.
The rule on the floor is a defensive foul. The rule on the floor is a defensive foul. This player is under review to see if he meets the criteria for a flagrant foul.
This is the landing area foul meant to protect the shooter. It really is the responsibility of the defense to make sure there's a clear landing area. And yes, Brunson went forward, but as long as it's ruled that that's a part of his natural shooting motion, it's already ruled a common foul because Bane didn't get his foot out of the way. But if it's determined to be a reckless closeout, they can call it a flagrant foul, which would be 3 free throws and the ball.
Yeah, and I think you said it perfectly that the defender has the burden of not being in their landing space, and he wasn't in their landing space, so if Jalen finds a way to move his foot a little bit and get on top of Baines, that's the right call. Unfortunately for the defense, you cannot be there.
And even if he moves up an inch, it's a flagrant foul.
After review, there is no reckless closeout by the defender. The rule on the floor stands as a common defensive foul during a three-point shot.
So 3 free throws for Brunson, no flagrant foul, although you go a couple weeks ago, he was ejected for a hard foul on Onyeka Okongwu, but he's turned things around in a big way. Game was tied at this point, looked like overtime was imminent, but he buries a 3 on a night when he was 0 for 5 until that ridiculous make, and what turned out to be a much-needed win for Orlando has brought them here to New York as they look for another W. That was about to be their worst loss of the season, but turned into their best one. They had let a 9-point lead go with 2.5 minutes left. They were down by 2 to the Blazers, but Banchero had a game-tying layup. Then he stripped Drew Holiday with 5 seconds left, and that gave just enough time for Desmond Bane to win it at the horn.
You could see just how excited Paolo was when Bane made that, because the one thing you didn't mention was Paolo had a game-winning free throw. At least it would have been a go-ahead free throw. He almost airballed. He missed it really bad.
Yes.
And then you're right, he came up with a big steal, and his guy Bane bailed everybody out in dramatic fashion, no matter what happened before it.
You're right, the game-tying layup I mentioned, it was an and one, but you're right, he missed the free throw. For more on Banchero, let's check in with Alan Hahn.
Yeah, guys, Paolo Banchero just went to the locker room. He's got a wrap on his left groin, and the team is saying it's a left groin strain. He's questionable to return. So he played the first quarter, 1 for 4. He may not be back in this game, so we'll see if the Magic are down one of their star players.
Brunson missed 2 out of those 3 free throws. The teams were combined 18 for 18 before those misses, and now Batase a chance of the 3-point play. And thanks for that update, Alan. Banchero just 4 points in 12 minutes so far. Is Batase a chance for the 3-point play?
You know, Batase, he really is a wild card player, especially for this Orlando team. He comes in off the bench. Kind of think there's going to be a little relief because of that, but you've already seen kind of the havoc that he brings, rebounding and now a little pick and roll action with a nice finish, able to get the 3-point play right there.
And a pretty versatile defender as well. He plays about 17, 18 minutes a game, but is averaging almost 2 blocks. Orlando up 15 again. Robinson, the handoff to McBride. Got Bane on him. Couldn't shake him. Out to Hart. 5 to shoot. He'll launch it. Offensive rebound, Robinson. Out to McBride. 3-pointer off the mark. Knicks are 4 of 17 from downtown.
Yeah, Mitch is working. You just got to keep working like that, because look, Deuce missed that one, but those are the kind of plays that have made the difference for this team. They're going to go.
Wagner using his size over Brunson. Largest lead for Orlando. They're up 17. The Knicks set a franchise record with 55 three-point attempts yesterday. Made 22 of them, and even 40%. Obviously tough to sustain, and they're at 24% tonight.
Yeah, it is tough to sustain, but I like the way that they're shooting them. Sometimes there's too many, but it's not about how many you shoot. It's about how you got those shots, and a lot of driving, kick, and good basketball.
Hart with the turnaround and a one-armed rebound from Suggs. And an offensive foul on Jalen Suggs. Drawn by Jalen Brunson. It's the third Suggs foul.
Look, this is a physical, feisty game, and good job by Jalen. I'm telling you, those braids, they help for calls like this. Watch him throw his head back. Oh, my goodness. But he got the call, and it was Suggs that initiated that contact. And he has his headband on, not around his neck, which he did earlier, if you missed that.
I still can't believe that happened. It was like 5 minutes.
Well, that's why he missed his first shot. That's why he didn't play that well. He didn't have his headband on to start the game.
Can't get in rhythm with his foul trouble. 3 fouls in 11 minutes. Knicks are 1 out of 8 from three-point land in the quarter. 1 out of 9. Offensive rebound again from Robinson, though. They're going to say let's see, is it a foul or did he touch it last? As Batadze was all over him.
Yeah, and you can see Coach Brown laughing, and this is one of those you don't want to challenge. You know who it was off. And if you challenge it, they probably would call that a foul in Knicks ball.
They're going to middle it and say no foul. It's out of bounds off of Orlando.
That's right.
3:17 left in the second. Knicks would love a strong finish to this first half. And then a foul on Desmond Bane, wrapping up Jalen Brunson. That's the 4th in the quarter on Orlando. And for Bane, this is number 3.
And you can tell Orlando wants to play a physical game. They want to get up and get. Look, they're all the way out guarding Mitchell Robinson, who's not going to shoot it out there. But obviously, it's Bane with too much contact before Jalen's even in bounds.
It reminds you of last year in the first round. The Boston Celtics had a lot of complaints about how physical Orlando was playing them in a series that the Celtics won in 5 games. But there was a hard foul on Jason Tatum in game 1. Kristaps Porzingis needed 5 stitches in his forehead in game 2. And who knows how much it carried over to the second round, but the Knicks got the best of Boston in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Towns hands to Brunson. Looking to spark some offense here. Been stuck in mud all half. Shamet got fouled, and 3 foul shots coming up as Jones hit him on the way.
Yeah, and a good job by Landry just to hunt the shot, to keep moving, because you're thinking Jalen's about to get his way down there, but he ran into a wall. And on the attack, it's so important that he gets in the paint like this. As the initiator, the point guard, then the shooter's just got to keep moving, and Landry being ready to shoot that thing. Sometimes you just let the defense mess it up, and he does. He fouls him right there, Jones.
Shamet now 14 out of 17 from the stripe this year. Lineup of Brunson, Bridges, Shamet, Anunoby, and Towns. Like Brown said before the game, there was a period where he'd be adjusting the minutes before and after every game. Keeps a little sheet. Last few nights, he says he hasn't really had to reference it too much. He's getting into the rhythm. He knows who he wants to play, when and where, although the variable of Mitchell Robinson changes things up from game to game. But he's certainly growing into the role, which is something he talks about a lot.
Yeah, no, and you're right. It was kind of an interesting story. I'm talking about the minutes sheet that Coach Rick Carlisle gave him back in 2003. He said he still uses it to kind of do his rotations. But, Tyler, it is kind of interesting that you score 130 points a few games, you're on a win streak, and you decide you don't need to change your rotations.
Sometimes the job is easy.
That's right.
15-footer from Wendell Carter. After the 2 Shamet free throws, Knicks are 10 of 13 from the line. And they'll be looking to get going, and so is Karl Anthony Towns. Backing down Wagner, double team, turnaround, missed it.
Look, you're seeing why you got to give Orlando credit. They are making it really hard offensively for New York.
Nice finish from Wagner in traffic. It is all magic in this opening half.
There's just an intensity. Look at De Silva out here picking Mikal Bridges up. Got Wendell Carter meeting him right there at the pick and roll. They're not letting you have any space right now.
Bridges finally finds some. It's a 17-point game.
Boy, that is a beautiful little fadeaway. It seems like there's always room when he lets that go. He makes it look easy because he leans so far back.
Carter rattles it in. His jump shot's looking good this year. And for him, the question is often about health. He's never played 70 games in a single season, but very dynamic player. Brunson takes him off the dribble in the paint. And that floater hasn't quite fully calibrated for Brunson yet this year, but only a matter of time. Mr. Silva takes him to the rim and banks it home with 92 seconds to go in a disappointing first half of the Knicks. Brunson on the attack, and he got hit from behind. Another trip to the free throw line for Brunson. He's 5 of 7 tonight. And we'll take the foul shots after the break. So deep, so big, and so tough to handle. The Orlando Magic and Tristan da Silva have a comfortable 59-38 lead on New York. Like trivia answer. We're looking for the only other Knick besides Jalen Brunson with a 30-point, 10-assist, and 5 made three-pointer game. Any guesses, Mr. Novak?
I was going to say John Starks.
That was also my guess, but I'm told it's not correct. It's Steph. He's in the building. Stephon Marbury. Wow, 45-point effort back on March 29th. Clyde's birthday, of course, 2005.
I like it, and I'll speak for Stephon in this one. He's going to say, you serious? 30, 10, and 5? I had 45, like you said. It's one of those categories you get put in and you go, well, yeah, it was in that category. But I had 45, so I'm better than whoever else was in there.
It's a very exclusive club. Again, just Marbury and Brunson. A minute 24 remaining in the opening half. Unless something wild happens, it'll be the first time all year the Knicks have been held under 50 points in a single half this year, or in the first half anyway. Brunson 6 of 8 from the foul line, so he's got 15. Nobody else has more than 5. Meanwhile, the Magic have 15 from Franz Wagner, 12 from Desmond Bane. But the Magic just announced that Paolo Banchero is questionable to return with a left groin strain.
Yeah, you just have to hope, I think, for the New York Knicks that this second half upcoming is very different than the first, and that obviously Banchero changes things for Orlando if he doesn't come back.
Too many good shooters on this team to go 4 for 18 in the second half as well from long range. Da Silva finds a lane and draws a foul. Trying to split the defense of Brunson and Towns, and they will get Karl Anthony Towns. Second foul on Cat.
Da Silva's really having a nice game. You can just see it. Second-year player, like you said, coming out of Colorado. I remember watching him in the NCAA tournament. Just an impressive game, and he's demonstrating it tonight.
Won a gold medal with Team Germany in Eurobasket this summer. Stay tuned at the end of the half for the halftime report, sponsored by Verizon. Bill Pito and Wally Zerbiak will have your coverage in studio, featuring the Audi MSG 150. Da Silva splits the trip. Towns tried to save it, but could not. The Knicks have not led since it was 2-0. Orlando up 20. It's the second largest deficit of the season for the Knicks. They were down 22 at Chicago at one point. Isaac couldn't tip slam it home as we hit the final minute of the second quarter. Trying to build some momentum heading to the third. Towns catches, drives, banks it in. He's got 6. Wagner pulls up and floats it in.
Boy, you can just see how hard they're making New York work for it. Cat getting pushed out of bounds, running the camera over on the baseline, and then they don't even care. Orlando's just pushing it, and Franz with a nice little floater to answer that one.
You have to be impressed with the Magic. 4 for 15 from 3, and they're up by 20. Out to Bridges, down the lane, out to Brunson again. Contested three-pointer. Won't go. Wagner's got the game high with 17. 5 to shoot for Franz Wagner. He'll launch the triple. Too much. Whistle and a foul on the rebound. They're going to send it down the other way as Carter and Brunson got tangled up. That will send Brunson to the free throw line. The Magic bench was protesting, but Carter was not.
And you can just see Orlando's just imposing their will. I think this is the kind of foul that they would rather have than not have. Fine. Go show Jalen is what Orlando has to be saying. If you're the bigger guy, you're the 6'10", 250-pound Wendell Carter, and Jalen's trying to box you out. Yes, I do think Orlando's trying to send a message. You said it to start the game. This could be a playoff matchup, and Orlando has sent a message so far. It is a back-to-back. Let's not forget that. Legs might be a little more tired, but Jamal Mosley, I think he knows this could be a matchup later in the year as well, and this is their first chance to really make a statement.
Well, Steve, they've changed the call to a double foul, so that's going to be a jump ball at center court.
I mean, listen, Jalen at inside position, it's not a double foul. He's boxing out. He got run over. I think that's not right.
Well, it's not a call you see very often.
A double foul on a box out where the 6'10" guy fouled the 6'2" guy the same.
2.7 left. Knicks win the tip. Clock draining, and Wagner gets the steal to send us to halftime. A statement first 2 quarters from the Orlando Magic. 62-42. A team that's trying to be contenders in the Eastern Conference. Well, they're up by 20.
Here courtside with assistant coach Chris Gent, as we will talk about this first half. Can't always be sunshine with the offense when the three-pointers aren't going down, when the offense isn't working as well as it has lately. Defense is the key. They have 32 points in the paint. What are they doing to get those matchups that they need?
Well, we're just a step slow. We're turning the basketball over, which is providing them with fast break opportunities. They're a big team, playing to the paint typically. So we got to take care of the ball. We got to pick up our pace.
You mentioned take care of the ball, 9 turnovers, 6 in that first quarter. What are they doing defensively, and what adjustment can you make to lower those turnovers?
Now, we're just a step slow. Playing sand right now. We just got to fight that fatigue, get that pace up, play fast, be more physical, set screens, help one another out.
It is the second game of back-to-back. Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck in the second half. We'll do Find Your Pace, presented by Experience Abu Dhabi. Also, one other thing to look at among the keys for the second half, the Knicks on this homestand are shooting 38.9% on threes. In that first half, guys, 4 for 19 at 3-ball. It's got to go down.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, you heard it from Chris Gent. Orlando seems like the last kind of team you want to play on the second night of a back-to-back. And well, the stat of the night is that yesterday the Knicks scored 42 points in the first quarter, and they were held to 42 points in the first half this evening as Robinson gets loose for an alley-oop.
Great first play. Get the momentum back on your side a little bit, but you're right. It is a back-to-back. There's no question they're not as fresh as they would have been if they didn't have a game last night, but it was free-flowing last night, and this Orlando team is definitely making it a very different game.
The Knicks have come out of the break with energy, and the Magic have come out without Paolo Banchero, who left in the second quarter with a groin injury. They'll call the foul on Jalen Brunson, so Suggs gets free throws. And Steve, it sounded like you were more impressed with the Magic's first half than disappointed in the Knicks' effort in those first 2 quarters.
You know, it really just seemed like when you look at who was on the court for Orlando on a lot of possessions, you've got Franz Wagner, who's 6'10", Jonathan Isaac, 6'10", Wendell Carter Jr., same thing. They come in with Bataze, they come in with De Silva. They're all 6'10", and they're dictating, it seems, more of where New York is going, especially tonight versus last night in the game against Memphis, or a game before that in Brooklyn, or against Brooklyn. And so you have to, I think, just give credit where credit's due. I think Orlando has dictated the pace of this game. It's why they're having the success, why they had the lead, and why New York just scored 40 points the last 2 first quarters and 42 points in the first half in this game.
Whistle and a foul on Isaac. You do think back to earlier this homestand, the 23-point win over Minnesota. They got some big bodies. They've got certain lineups they're able to put together with maybe Jaden McDaniels at the 2 guard. He's 6'9", but in terms of size and depth, this Magic team feels second to none. Towns was held to just 6 points in the first half. He goes to work on Isaac, who forces a very tough shot. It comes back to Towns, and the second try is good.
Boy, I like that fire that we've seen. We've seen a lob dunk to Mitch. We've seen Karl Anthony Towns go to work down low, and that's the edge that this team's going to have to have. They're going to make a comeback.
Bain misfires. Anunoby a quick outlet to Brunson. Can they pick up the pace in the second half? Down the lane, Suggs on his hip. Floater is good and one.
That's the captain going to work. And you saw on the other end, Suggs drew a little contact on Jalen Brunson, got a foul on him early. And then, like the captain does, he gets in the paint. He stops on a dime. He reads the situation, and he makes something beautiful happen. A little bit of defense is going to need to be played now, too. The offense is clicking, but you heard Coach Chris Gent mention that we got to play some D along with the O. You're down 20. You got your work cut out for you.
Well, they made it 15 in about a minute and a half, and Brunson just drew the 4th foul on Jalen Suggs. Carter poked away, but a foul on Robinson. It's the 3rd on Mitch. He's played 10 minutes so far. He pulled down 4 offensive rebounds in the first half.
You know, one thing to really watch, I feel like, in that first half that I noticed, but you're seeing right in this last possession, is which team is the better screening team. You're seeing Orlando really commit to these screens, which is creating some mismatches. Right there, Franz getting the switch on Jalen. Now OG's got to help.
And he forces an air ball. Wagner asking for a foul, but it's not coming. It's another benefit of the size of that team, all the ball screens they can set.
You know it is, but I think on this end here, set some big time screens, get some guys open, create some space for your teammates.
Brunson gets downhill. Robinson, his 5th offensive rebound. Bridges touches the paint, sprays to Brunson, swinging around to Towns. Anunoby a little cold the last couple of nights, and the Knicks turn it over for the 10th time.
And look, that possession did not work out, but let's just continue to give Mitch the credit he deserves. Giving this Knicks team more opportunities in a game like this, that's how you're going to come back. Is you're going to steal some possessions. You're going to have to get more field goal attempts than the Orlando Magic. Offensive glass is a big part of that.
Suggs got caught in the air and threw it away. A race to the cup. Bridges on Bain. Blocked, but a goaltend. And maybe a hang on the rim at the end from Jalen Suggs.
Well, this is how Orlando got in this spot. They're aggressive. They're taking chances, but beautiful deep by McHale to put that thing right above the rim, where he knew if he had 2 defenders coming at him, he was going to have to throw that thing through or put it above the rim, which he did.
Just the start the Knicks were hoping for out of the halftime break. Right back in this thing, down 13. Suggs splits the defense, blocked by Robinson, but a foul. And that's number 4 on Robinson.
Yeah, in that possession, they had Robinson really covering some ground and work, and he was out in that pick and roll and then trying to recover back as fast as he could. Almost got that thing on the glass, but covering some ground, and this is what you want to see if you're the Knicks. Guy gets by one of the guards. You got Mitchell Robinson on the backside. Unfortunately, getting a foul right there, but you guys like that he's pursuing everything.
The Knicks have a 7-point advantage in the 3rd quarter. As we take a look at tonight's Kia card, Jalen Brunson this week acknowledged that 3rd quarters were an issue for this team last year, especially in the playoffs. Well, during this homestand, the 5-game winning streak, they've been incredible in 3rd quarters, and they were up big on Memphis at halftime, so to only lose that frame by 2 felt like a small victory. And at one point in the 3rd, they led that game by 28 yesterday.
Yeah, and a huge credit to a group that you can say in film or in team meetings, hey, we've got to become better at this, we've got to work on that, but to actually be able to put it into motion, like you're saying, and in the 3rd quarter, make a very conscious effort to get better. That's a huge credit to this team. And I know Coach Brown wasn't thrilled with some things late in that Memphis game last night, and they talked about that. We'll see if they can have a better second half here.
Brunson off the mark, and it Suggs the other way. He got 1 of 2 free throws. Wagner slips it past to Carter, double teamed, got rid of it to Suggs, extra pass, Bain from the corner.
Yeah, they're demanding attention, a double team, deservedly so, when you got some of those bigger guys on smaller guards down low, and Bain getting that 3 ball to go.
Just a 5th 3-pointer for Orlando tonight, but the Knicks have only 4. There's Shamet to get 2 right back.
And a great answer. Look, the offense is clicking right here, and you can just see the rotation's got to be crisp, the communication's got to be good. You dig a little bit of a hole, you got to be sharp.
15-point game again. Orlando led by as many as 21. Bane inside, driving kick, extra feed to De Silva. Not this time, but Wagner gets the offensive rebound. Bridges lost track of him. And then Suggs skies in for the board, and they're going to call a loose ball foul on the Knicks.
And the whistle right now on some of these possessions seems to just go to whoever is being more reckless. And sometimes you hear, hit first. And here you see the first offensive board right here. Franz put it up, and look at Jalen Suggs fly in there. Somehow there's a foul on Miguel or Cat, but really, I think he just got the benefit of seeing the energy that he was playing with. The whistle goes to that guy a lot of times.
They call the foul on Bridges. And the Knicks no longer have any to give. 4 fouls in the first 3.5 minutes of the quarter, and that means free throws here. Oh, check that. They did not reset the shot clock to 14. Thought that was a reach-in foul, but they'll have a side out. A kick ball. But just joining us, Paolo Banchero, questionable to return with a groin injury. 4 points in 12 minutes in the first half for him. And Wagner's taken over and misses a 3. And the most recent update is that Banchero's not going to return. His 23rd birthday. Baseline cut, blocked by Suggs. He rejects Hart.
Boy, he's everywhere in the last few possessions.
On the other end, Bane works it around. Carter for 3. That's good.
He's having a year. Look, he's a 5-man for this team, but 46% from 3. He's not one of the guys struggling from deep for this Orlando team.
Back to an 18-point Magic lead. Anunoby from the corner. Got it. That's his first make from 3 and from the field. He had been held to just 2 foul shots before that. Bane penetrates and gets a back rim roll. Going to get a delay of game call on the Magic. They've earned their luck. A lot of bounces going their way tonight, including this one from Bane.
Sometimes you just got to be a little lucky. You call this a great miss. Obviously hit back rim, a little bounced around and went in, but boy, I'll tell you, the aggressive team, sometimes they get the favorite. Look, Suggs flying around.
Bane and Wagner both have 17, and Landry Shamit's got 9.
Well, I like the way he came out as a starter last night against Memphis. 8 of his 10 points in the first quarter in spurts and streaks. Seeing him right now, the way he's knocking down shots is a nice answer to Orlando, but it's going to have to happen on this end.
Wagner on the step through, rolls around and down. Able to get around OG Anunoby. Hard off the town screen. Brunson out of the corner into the paint, and he's got 2 more. The first scorer to reach 20 points tonight. De Silva bowls over Brunson. That's an offensive foul.
And we'll just see what happens from here. But that bucket from the captain, and then him busting his tail back on this end, squaring up to Silva, taking in the chest. That's a big-time play.
And there's your Ford Tough Play, presented by your local Ford stores. Timeout on the floor. Knicks were down 20 at half. They've cut into the deficit. Back within 15. Found a bit of a groove here in the third quarter. Back within 15. Celebrity Row is presented by Motorola Razr. Ben Stiller is here, Knicks diehard fan. Jimmy Fallon right next to him. He had Karl Anthony Towns on his show last month. And then the Knicks legend section. Patrick Ewing in the house. The answer to tonight's Cadillac trivia question, Stephon Marbury. And Tim Thomas came over to say hi to Steve Novak during halftime. And Latrell Sprewell and Larry Johnson. Can't talk about those two without reminiscing about 98-99 from the 8th seed all the way to the NBA Finals. Allen Houston is here in the building as well, but he's working. What a run that was. And we'll talk a lot about that banner on the right as well. 2012, 2013. Steve Novak, of course, a big part of that team. And there is Allen Houston. What a job he and the Knicks front office have done to put together a legitimate championship contender. The East is wide open this year. These two teams we're seeing tonight will very much have a say about who comes out of the conference to the NBA Finals this year.
You know, talking about Allen Houston and Leon and Wes and all those guys, they've built a team that is built around toughness. When you look out there and you see Mitchell Robinson and you see Hart, you got Jalen making the plays on both ends that he made last possession. That is what this team is about.
Anunoby off the catch. Hart with 6. He'll attack Wagner, running out of time, and he hits a step back.
And speaking of toughness, you just see him continue to make shots, not be scared. He's talked about he's got a bad digit. He's got that thing all wrapped up. He's not feeling great. So what? He's finding a way to be out there with his teammates and make shots.
There was a long stretch last year when Hart was the best end of the shot clock shooter in the NBA. Brunson got a hand in there and took it away from De Silva. And Anunoby, the long pass. Bain on the deck for it. And it's out of bounds off of Orlando. Starting to feel like a playoff atmosphere.
I was about to say that. I mean, these guys are laying it out there. There's some games you go, I'm not sure. He could have gone for that. What's going on? Tonight, every possession, it'll be a post-up. It'll be a fast break play. Look at OG saying, I'm taking the chance. I'm throwing it out there. Jalen going for it, and Bain just laying out for it. Almost saved that. Just look at the physicality. This is an inbounds play.
Shamet's heating up in the third quarter, and he stays hot. 11 points for Landry Shamet. He's the second leading scorer on the Knicks right now.
He has loosened up this Orlando defense that has been very good, but Landry's feeling good.
Crowd back into it. Knicks back into it. From down 21 to back within 11. Carter down the lane and a two-hand slam.
You know what, though? Keep throwing bodies. Keep making it difficult. You end up on a poster, so what? Go block everything. Take charges. You got to be in the right spots.
8 points for Towns so far, and he couldn't respond. Bain crosses over Hart, finds a wide open Wagner in the corner, and he nails a 3. Big swing there with 5 unanswered points from Orlando.
Yeah, Cat, with a beautiful move, but just running out of air time. And like you said, Franz answering that with a 3.
Hart for 3. Carter went down behind the play. A 4-on-5 for Orlando. Wagner spins, attacks, got blocked by Anunoby. Brunson threw it out of bounds, and it is off of Brunson. I guess it came back and hit him. Going to get Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson into the game.
And just a smart play by Wagner to get it and to go quick, because he knew that help was coming. And OG, good job getting his hand on that. Jalen trying to save that, throw it off of Franz's chest, but looks like he stepped out of bounds first.
A breather for Towns and Anunoby. They've held to 13 combined points in 49 total minutes. Inbound to De Silva. In and out.
There you go. Sometimes you just need a little cooperation from the basketball gods. Instead of a bounce and it going in, a miss like that.
Brunson posting up Suggs. Hart keeps it moving. Bridges a catch and shoot 3. That was his first attempt from downtown. Shooting 48%, normally on 5 attempts a game. Suggs matched up with Robinson. He'll pull the trigger. Bataze able to draw the foul on Shamet. And now it's free throws for Orlando.
He's really done a good job for them tonight, too. You saw De Silva come in and have an impact. Bataze's come in and had an impact. This is one of the better benches in the league, and I think it's certainly going to test this New York team on a back-to-back, too, in some of their depth. Let's see what Deuce does when he comes back in. Jordan Clarkson, guys that can fill it up, that can really go on runs. Can one of those guys kind of be the burst and the bump that New York needs? Because Orlando's done a good job with guys coming in.
McBride had a big 3-pointer when the Knicks needed it back in the first half. Really ever since he joined the rotation, specifically in that Philly series, round 1 2 years ago, he always has the ability to provide that spark on both ends. Bataze gets both. Impressive resolve from this young Magic team with the Garden rocking. They've quieted the crowd again. This is the 5th youngest team in the NBA, average age of 24 years. Strong rebound from Desmond Bane off the Bridges miss. Wagner's got 22. Missed the finger roll. Hart tears down the rebound. And a whistle and a foul. Batadze tripped up Hart. And Wagner got hit in the face.
Boy, bodies everywhere. You see Wagner already wearing the mask after Kamara got him in the face and just about knocked his nose off on Monday. You see Batadze, he knew he fouled him, but Hart going, I know it was an accident, but a punch in the face is the same if it's an accident or not to him.
And the Knicks were asking for a transition take foul, and it looks like they're going to award the free throw.
But Tyler, you're right too. The resolve of this Orlando team. You know, it's at the Garden. It starts to buzz. Landry's making shots, and Orlando did push it back up to 18, now to 17, and Orlando's really getting their way.
Brunson now 9 out of 11 from the foul line, 22 points. He's tied with Wagner for the game high. Brunson, Bridges, Hart, Shamet, and Robinson. Brunson trying to break down Suggs, took him right to the rim, but couldn't finish. Suggs skipping up court. Batadze looking for a handoff. It's Wagner. Inside to Batadze. He's wrapped up by Brunson. And remember, the Knicks committed 4 fouls in the first 3.5 minutes of the quarter, so these fouls are going to send Orlando back to the free throw line. Time to get tickets. Might not have felt like a big matchup when the season started, but Miami's playing some great basketball this year, and they got the best of the Knicks down in South Beach just a couple weeks ago. The other team from Florida putting on an impressive show here at the Mecca. 82-65 Orlando, late third quarter.
Yeah, Orlando has been impressive so far, but at halftime, I was looking for someone to comfort me. I went by Spike and I said, Spike, what do you think? He said, it's a back-to-back. And I talked to Stephon Marbury. He said, it's a back-to-back. And Tim Thomas said the same thing. I said, you guys don't think Orlando's playing pretty good? They're doing a lot of things. I said, Steve, it's a back-to-back. We're a little tired. I said, all right, well, you guys are the experts, so maybe that's the case.
We did hear a little bit of that as well from Chris Gent, who's running the offense. Talked about running in sand and trying to overcome fatigue. But I'm with you. There are different kinds of back-to-backs, and one against the Magic, coming in off a buzzer-beating win, and their calling card is hard physical defense. It's going to be tough for any team on a night like tonight. Whistle and a foul on Batadze. That doesn't go down in the box score as an offensive rebound, but Robinson deserves one. It's a new Knick possession.
Yeah, and as you see, Jet Howard has checked in the game, and he was just guarding Brunson. There's a window there to try to get a bucket on a guy who just came in, but it's Juwan Howard's son. Played with him when I was a rookie. Taught me how to be tough. Well, he said things. It didn't really work, but.
Jet played for his dad, Juwan, who was the coach at Michigan, now an assistant with the Nets. Here's Jet Howard. From the corner, Wagner. Such an effective driver in this game, really throughout his career, giving some space and flips it in.
Boy, you just see what makes his game so special. Franz's ability to use those shoulders at 6'10", plays more like a guard than a big, but he was a big on that possession.
Lead is back up to 21 after the Knicks had it down to 11. Wagner whips it to De Silva. Strong defense from Landry Shamet. Batadze over the top. That hit the backboard and it came out to Hart. Speeding ahead with the spin move. Blocked into the rim by Batadze. How did that happen?
That was pretty wild. He pinned it on the glass, had enough spin off the, seemed like the pad on the backboard that it still went in. I don't know who gets the bucket harder, Batadze.
He looked around it. He said, am I inbounding this ball? Did that actually go in? Howard for three. Batted over to Bridges. Final minute, third quarter. Brunson, Knicks need this one. Don't get it. Foul away from the ball, and that'll be more free throws for Wagner and the Magic.
And just look at the effort to go up. You've seen Orlando all night go contest shots, and he pinned it on the glass, had a little English on it. It seemed like when it came off his fingertips right here. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before.
Almost like it slipped through his fingertips. Otherwise, he would have just pinned it right on the backboard. That's the fourth foul on Brunson, by the way. Wagner 3 for 3 from the stripe, and now a game-high 25 points.
Yeah, and he's earning it. You know, New York is making him work for it. There are some favorable matchups when he gets smaller guards in that post, but seen that mask come on and off a few times already tonight. He just took a shot on the chin. I'm not sure that was a foul on Jalen. I thought he was doing a good job fronting. If you're 6'10" and you hit your chin on the top of a 6'2" guy's head, I feel like it's not his fault.
We said it before, but this Magic team shoots more free throws than anybody in the NBA, 32 a game. They're now 21 out of 23 in this one.
Yeah, like you said, 22% of their points come from the free throw line.
And Anunoby connects from the corner. Now they need some stops. The 6 of 25 from 3. If that changes even a little bit in the fourth quarter, they'll have a chance. Black from the corner, able to answer. Once again matching the largest lead, 21 points in favor of Orlando. Brunson with 5, Hart with 3, and he drills a 3. Black got the heave off in time and will send us to the fourth quarter. So Josh Hart 0 for 4 until that make. He's got 10 points, and maybe the Knicks have some life, but an 18-point Orlando lead, and they have earned it with strong defense on one end and good enough offense on the other end. After 3 quarters, it's Magic 91, Knicks 73, with the 5-game winning streak in jeopardy. Orlando lead as we begin the fourth quarter. Monday on MSG, the Knicks take on the Miami Heat. Live coverage begins at 7 p.m. with Knicks Game Night, followed by tip-off at 7:30. Watch it Monday on MSG or stream on the Gotham Sports app. Those two teams will also play here on Friday, but that'll be a national broadcast. Got a Steve Novak jersey in the crowd here.
I've been bringing a few with me to the arena so I could have them spotted out there amongst the people.
Yeah, paid performers. It makes sense.
That's right. That's right.
Get a look at the game summary. It was never going to last, the fact that the Knicks were shooting about 40% through this homestand, but you don't expect 27% from downtown or 40% overall, and we just keep going back to how well Orlando seems to be playing on the defensive end, but eventually you have to hope some of these three-pointers are going to fall.
Yeah, and I do think, too, look, you look at Orlando making 8 and New York making only 7. Well, there's no question. Orlando is the reason that New York has only made 7. It's not open misses. They're in the shooter's space. They're taking that away very consciously, and it has been their game led on the defensive end.
And a lot more off-the-dribble threes than we're used to seeing, but now a turnover forced. Clarkson off the Towns pass down the lane, and he gets 2.
And you see who's in the game right now. Shamit's been rolling. You got Jordan Clarkson, Deuce. These guys can fill it up, and obviously you're going to have a lot of action on that backside between Cat and OG.
First points for Clarkson. He's been in double figures 4 of the last 5 games. Bane from the elbow, off the mark. Look how hard they're working for the rebounds on both ends, and Anunoby wins that battle. McBride in the paint, got hit, and a trip to the free throw line for Deuce McBride. You mentioned it earlier. He can really ignite this team when they're in the doldrums and a chance to cut further into this lead.
And it really seems like the recipe for New York to make this comeback happen, because, look, there is plenty of time and they can't, even though it hasn't been their game so far, is I think very much what Orlando did to hold their lead in that third quarter, which is to get to the foul line early, stop the clock, cut away at this lead a little bit, and then get in those corners. Knock down some threes, something they've been so good at. The lineup that's in there right now is great for that, but you got to take what the defense gives you. Get those paint touches so you can keep creating for somebody.
McBride gets 1 of 2. 15-point game. A lot of basketball left here in the fourth quarter. Jones off the catch. Black on the baseline drive. Good seal off from McBride. And everything's going down for Carter tonight. He's 6 out of 8, and a lot of it coming from the perimeter.
Yeah, and on that play right there, just a lot of finesse. Just seeing the touch he's got.
Here's some power from Towns. Left it short, got it back, and banked it in. Hasn't always been pretty. And Towns up to 10 points now on 5 of 11 shooting. 1 rebound away from yet another double-double. Bane working on Shamet. That one spins off. Long outlet to Anunoby. Streaking ahead. Finds Clarkson. Open 3. In and out. Oh, it's been that kind of night for the Knicks offense.
But a great job pushing the pace. That's the shot that you want. Those are the ones that are going to have to go, and you certainly got to take some chances, but you got to lock down over here.
Isaac from the corner. Shamet with some space. Closed out by Carter. Towns wants a 3. He got it! Timeout Orlando. The Knicks have life. From down 21, it's a 12-point game with still 9:47 remaining in the fourth quarter.
This is what it's going to take. Stretch that floor. Everybody stay ready. But I'm sending them some very positive basketball, three-point shooting energy. He's getting himself ready over there.
Only Tyler Hall and Farron Hunt have worn 16, a total of 3 games. So you said, Steve, you've really got an ownership on number 16.
That's my oldest son's birthday, so
I love it.
Or number 16, and try to represent it well.
Knicks need defense now. Black tries a floater and gets it to go. He's got 10. Towns, another trailer 3. Short. Long rebound, Clarkson. Sidestep 3. That's good.
Man, these guys are good, aren't they? When their back is against the wall, they got to make some plays. You got Cat banging out 3s, and now Jordan Clarkson.
Another floater from Anthony Black, who's averaging a career-high 11 a game.
Boy, and they're right there, but you can just tell you got to put together a couple big offensive possessions.
Oof. Giveaway. Knicks have taken much better care of the ball. Just their 3rd turnover in the second half, but a big one. Isaac fouled by Towns, and he'll get to the free throw line. That's just the first personal in the fourth quarter on New York.
Yeah, that was a good foul right there. Just had Cat in a bad way, and you could see Bane pushing with purpose. He didn't know if it was going to be his bucket or someone else, but that kind of burst and getting up the floor that fast, it just throws defenses into total disarray.
Isaac, not a great foul shooter, though. 63% for the year. Got the second. It was an 18-point lead after 3 quarters. Back to 14 now, and the Knicks have done it without the clutch player of the year, Jalen Brunson, who's still getting a rest. But back-to-back turnovers for New York.
Yeah, those hurt, and they added up early. You could see it was Orlando's pressure. New York was turning it over in the first quarter. Those last 2, though, as they're making this push, there's no doubt it's still in a good place. You get this to about 7 or 8, 4 or 5 minutes left. Orlando's going to tighten up.
Jones almost dropped it. Bane's got 5 to shoot. Off the dribble 3. Very short. Rebound McBride. Jalen Brunson headed to the scorer's table now. Slip pass to Towns. Lumbers down the lane. 2 guys come at him and he draws the foul. One of the best foul shooters in the NBA. We'll get 2 here for his first trip of the night.
And that was just good pick and roll action. We don't see as much pick and roll, but I'll be honest with this Orlando team, the way they're playing defense, you got to crack some bodies, try to get some mismatches, get a smaller guy, or get Cat on the move like he was right there. And as you see, when you're down like this with 8 minutes left, stop that clock, you can chip away at it with these free throws. It's a beautiful way to make a comeback.
Landry Shamet checks out as Brunson's getting ready to come in. Where would the Knicks be without the 11 points tonight from Landry Shamet, who at least kept them connected as they were falling behind by 20?
Well, we kind of saw a similar path to the end of the game last night, where it was obviously New York on the other side of it with the big-time lead up by 28. It's hard to sustain it all the way through. So Orlando playing some really good basketball, but there's still the fourth quarter. You got to close, and this New York team offensively, they've been rolling. If they can patch together here in the fourth, that's all it takes.
Now remember, Orlando had a 9-point lead 2 nights ago with about 2.5 minutes left. Then Portland went on an 11-0 run. This Magic offense has a tendency to get stuck in mud late in these games. Far from over with 7:55 remaining. Suggs on the scoop, bounced out. Now Clarkson wants another 3. That one's blocked by Black. Now Bane on the crossover. Good contest from Towns. Bane fell down. Knicks have numbers the other way. Brunson spins away from Suggs. Thought about a 3. Now hands to Towns, but he got stripped. Suggs leaking ahead. Fly by McBride, but he missed the layup. The tip-in drops. And Orlando up by 14 again.
Boy, there is no lack of fight in either of these teams. Fast break, guys flying around trying to get blocks and rebounds, and boy, on this end.
You can sense that Brunson was caught in between. He saw he was wide open for 3. So is McBride, and he buries it.
Big time shot. Pulled the spacing all the way to the corner. You can tell he's been running that point guard spot a little bit. Frustrated, but catch and shoot for him right there. The captain's back in.
Second 3-pointer for Deuce McBride. 11-point game. This is the closest the Knicks have been all half. And now a foul on Towns. That's number 4. Mikal Bridges coming in for Landry Shamet now. You see McBride's 3-pointer.
And just being ready to shoot. I think you could tell he knew Jalen is a willing passer. He'll find him if it's there. As soon as he caught it, he let that thing go.
McBride is now playing with the starters. Haven't seen a whole lot of this during the 5-game winning streak. Black misfires, and Carter hustles for the rebound. So much of this game has come down to effort on loose balls like that as Towns picks up his 5th foul.
And just battling down there. You can see a little frustration from Cat, but Wendell Carter Jr. is having himself a big game, and Mitch coming in is a beautiful sight. They're going to need some extra possessions, some big-time work down low from him.
It looked like he was headed to the scorer's table before Towns picked up that 5th foul. So Brunson, Bridges, McBride, Anunoby, and Robinson. Wagner trying to spin past Anunoby, and he draws the foul. So 4 fouls on the Knicks in pretty rapid succession. Let's take another look.
Well, and Franz just forcing the action. Look, OG knows I'm not going to just let him shoot the 3, but I know where he wants to go, and just got that arm down a little bit over Franz's shoulder. I think that was the contact. If he was straight up, probably wouldn't have got the whistle.
It was a shooting foul, but just like that, the Knicks are out of fouls to give. Wagner, an 85% foul shooter with a rare miss that time. Oh for 2. Not yet halfway through this fourth quarter. Knicks were down by 18 after 3. Now they're back within single digits. Suggs, a long 3, got it. He was 0 for 4 before that one.
Telling everybody to quiet down, and listen, that was a big shot. This was about to take the roof off, and
Bridges can't answer. Good closeout from Anunoby. Wagner slipped, but a foul called on Brunson. That's his 5th. We saw Brunson put the goggles on here to the referee. He thought this should have been an and 1.
He just does such a good job at creating space right there, and that is contact on the shot. That was Black jumping into his shoulder. He wore the goggles. He was feeling good, but I think he was right. That should have been an and 1. Didn't get called.
He said something about a whistle there. Wagner breaks his foul shooting slump. They're going to get Landry Shamet back into the game. Bridges coming out 0 for 3 from distance. Mike Brown clearly willing to play the hot hands. Going to make the most of the depth on this roster.
Yeah, it's a back-to-back. You've got to have guys that can come in and impact the game, and that's what's going to make this team at that next level be great. When you got guys come in like Shamet has and Jordan Clarkson, they got to be really good.
Big bucket there from Brunson. 26 for the Knicks captain. Playing with 5 fouls. Towns on the bench with 5. Black goes right at Brunson, who almost had to let him go by.
Yeah, that's when the game gets interesting. You get 5 fouls, and they can go for guys on either team. At this point in the game, you got to be really smart. When you got 5 fouls, you got to stay on the court.
Brunson spins, shoots, scores. 28 for Jalen Brunson.
Got to be some big-time defensive stands here. You can just see New York chipping away, making shots, making the plays, but running out of time unless they play defense.
They send 2 at Bain, and that leaves Anthony Black wide open.
Just a few too many threes, a few daggers. That one included, the Suggs one a few possessions ago. Been huge answers to the New York run.
The Knicks aren't out of it yet, but they're running out of rope. 110-95. Orlando in front with 4:18 remaining. Anthony Black putting on a show from downtown. That's his 3rd. Hadn't been within single digits since the first half. And Suggs hasn't been perfect tonight, but he's helped hold Jalen Brunson somewhat in check. Brunson 9 out of 21 from the field. Knicks need some offense. They're going to get Karl Anthony Towns back in. Both Brunson and Towns playing with 5 fouls.
Yeah, they got to find a way to stay out there. The other guys out there have to recognize if they're in a bad way, they got to come help at this point, but gonna have to try to get to that foul line, knock down some threes, and lock down on this defensive end, certainly running out of time.
Nice job by Anunoby to come back and elude that full court pressure on the inbound. So that just slows things down even further for the Knicks, who need points in a hurry. Brunson given a clear lane, and he's got 30 points on back-to-back nights.
Yeah, Jalen's thinking, why couldn't it be like this the rest of the night? My goodness, everybody just got out of the way, said, you can have a free one.
He started 6 out of 18. And he's made 4 of his last 6 shots. Wagner left alone, can't make the Knicks pay. Back within 13. Towns took a hit from Carter. Couldn't throw it up and in, and Brunson couldn't corral the rebound.
And you just got to give Wendell Carter Jr. a lot of credit the way he's moving his feet, uses that big chest. He's stayed in front of Cat, but takes that shot away. I like Cat putting the ball on the floor. He's had a lot of success with that, but going to have to get his way every time from here on out.
And they forced him into a lot of tough shots tonight. He's 6 out of 15. Carter comes to the ball. Brunson went down. Offensive foul. So Carter picks up his 3rd personal. That is the 13th Orlando turnover.
Orlando runs some good action up top. They got a flare screen hitting the big man, and Jalen just getting a little Carter Jr. elbow right in the head.
Knicks aren't done yet, but the Magic trying to hang on for what would be their most impressive win of the season. In part because they've done it without Paolo Banchero. He had to leave after the first quarter with a groin injury.
Yeah, they've had a lot of different guys really step up in his place. De Silva played some extra minutes. You saw Jonathan Isaac out there. Bataze, they filled in for him.
Now Bane gets downhill. Bank shot no, but another foul on the Knicks. They've been called for 24 personals tonight, 21 on Orlando. This will be the 30th and 31st foul shots for the Magic, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually just one below their season average.
Now, this is an impressive performance for Orlando so far. Look, they started out the year, lost 4 of their first 5. Now they're getting a little better. They've won 4 of their last 6. They've certainly shown that they've got fight, that they can be a team that causes some trouble in the playoffs. And I think they've played below expectations so far. But tonight they played well.
They gave Boston everything they could handle in the first round last year. Nice pass from Towns to McBride. And Deuce McBride's got 9 points. It's the 4th assist for Karl Anthony Towns. Knicks need stops, but they got 2 guys playing with 5 fouls. Bane with 5 to shoot. Pushes off on Brunson, and they'll call another offensive foul. It's got to be the 4th time Brunson has drawn an offensive foul tonight.
Well, and you saw Jalen Brunson a little sarcastically cheering the referee. I mean, that's definitely a push-off. Great job moving his feet, just keeping his chest in the way, and he's not happy tonight.
Well, nobody gets beat up more throughout the course of a game than Jalen Brunson, and especially against a team like Orlando. You know he's feeling it. A wild shot from McBride wouldn't go. He also wanted a foul. Black feeds the corner. Bane for 3, and the Knicks are running out of time.
Well, that's the Desmond Bane that Orlando traded for. They wanted a guy that was going to be an all-star level, knocking down shots, closing games. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Hard take from Brunson. He comes down grabbing his leg. 30 points in 37 minutes. A bit more than his average in both departments. Saw him shake his head over toward the Knick bench.
Boy, you just kind of held your breath on this one. Weren't sure if he stepped on his foot or if he got knocked in the shin, but man, oh man.
I think he stepped on Carter's foot.
Yeah, but you're right. He got up, looked down to Coach Brown, looked at his dad, shook his head no. I'm hoping that meant no, like I'm not hurt.
Well, we heard Mike Brown reference this early in the year, that he'd be willing to wave the white flag in certain moments. And yeah, it's a tough one for Brunson. He can't come out because he's the shooter at the free throw line, but this does appear to be white flag time for head coach Mike Brown, as he will empty the bench. The Knicks are right now a perfect 7-0 at home, but this always felt like it was going to be the toughest test of the homestand. A hungry Magic team looking to prove themselves in the Eastern Conference, and they have done that tonight.
You know, during this homestand, there's been a lot of things that this New York team could prove. We talked about coming out in the 3rd quarter. Can they be better this season, especially at home? And we saw in the playoffs last year, obviously, how good this Knicks team is on the road, but what they've done at home has been impressive so far.
Brunson commits the foul so he can come out of the game and go right down the tunnel to the locker room. Not walking well.
Yeah, you hate seeing that, especially just with the fight that he played with and seeing that the game was just out of reach. You know, coach was for sure about to take him out, and then that last possession still pushing, and unfortunately ends up stepping on it was Wendell Carter's foot, tweaking that ankle.
They get some of the younger Knicks in there. Tyler Kolek. Where did he go to college again?
A little Marquette action.
Okay.
That's my guy. He put on quite a show for Marquette University, coached by Shaka Smart. Hopefully he can keep dropping dimes out here with the New York Knicks.
Joined by Paco Mdadier, Mohamed Diawara, Gershon Yabusele, and Ariel Hukporti. Hukporti started 2 of the first 7 games of the season and was dropped out of the rotation since. Jace Richardson, a rookie out of Michigan State, guarding Kolek here. They've also got a rookie from France, Noah Penda, out high. He's marked by Yabusele. Here's Yabusele for 3, and that's his second make of the night as he continues to build some momentum, working his way to what he hopes is a little more playing time. And a timeout, Orlando, with 92 seconds to go. It has been the Magic's night tonight. A 117-103 lead late. Two free throws after this moment, stepping on Wendell Carter's shoe and then landing awkwardly. He would walk off the court back to the Knicks locker room under his own power.
I just hope he's okay. They can get that right by Friday when match up with Miami.
Here's Jett Howard for 3. Rebound by Noah Penda. Inside to De Silva. He'll bank it in. Knicks have a couple of days off after this back-to-back, or just one day off rather. They'll get the Miami here on Friday. There's Yabusele misfires from the corner.
Yeah, and obviously too little, too late, but
a steal from Yabusele. And a good feed to Dadier, the French connection.
Yeah, good seeing these guys come in, show a little bit of fight, make a push. Obviously, Yabusele especially been playing some lower minutes over the last few games, but seeing him make a few shots, take a few shots, you hope that there's some transfer value.
Jett Howard with his dad Juwan in the building, rips the net for 3. 11th overall pick 2 years ago out of Michigan. Dadier swings to Kolek. Gets around Penda and banks it in. Knicks have 2 days off before going to Miami. It'll be next Monday. So they got a home and home Friday and Monday against the resurgent Heat. Howard showing off the handle this time for a right-hand layup. And there's Juwan. He's an assistant with those Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, Juwan, like I had mentioned, he was my vet, taught me the way when I was in Houston as a young pick. But got to be proud to be watching his son out here, and quite a game for Orlando. They really did. They brought it. It was a back-to-back for New York. It's been a heck of a homestand still. Like you said, Miami coming up, but you got to give credit to Orlando. They played a heck of a game.
They started 1-4, but now the Magic have won 5 of 7, and they're back to 500. As for the Knicks, they've lost their first home game of the season after starting 7-0. And Franz Wagner had his fingerprints all over this one. A team-high 28 points. This is your Audi electrifying play.
Franz with the beautiful finish right there. Like you said, it was his night.
We're back to wrap it up after this.